Howdy.
Howdy.
So today I'm here with
Duncan.
Okay. Didn't know if we were going with Duncan or Meister Scott. Either one works. Been talking about doing a Meet the Creator video with someone else, so we're going to talk to Duncan about building an R2 unit. Duncan, what got you started with the idea?
Well, the idea started back in the 70s when I first saw the movie, and I'm like, I got to get me one of those. But it wasn't until recently that I was able to, be in a position to set the money aside to do it properly. I looked into it many years ago, and I found out that the original droids for episode 4 were actually, all metal and all of that kind of stuff, and I wasn't in a position to do that. And over the recent years, I've slowly, over the past 5 years, been accumulating parts and squirreling them away. So now I'm getting close. This is the outer skins. I'm actually doing an R5, just to do something a little different. When I was a little kid, I always wanted a custom green R5 that would do different things, and now I can make it do that because 40 years later, that technology exists. So,
much like George Lucas in fixing some of the originals, doing what he wanted to do with them, like having the Falcon take off and see the whole flight.
Right. So the skins are actually just sitting on here on the countertop. The bottom isn't on the body, so we can just slide that off.
And those were laser cut skins?
Yes, yes. A gentleman was kind enough to. This is you can see the doors through all the light. But this is actually laser cut aluminum that was then rolled to fit the 18.25-inch diameter. And to give you an idea of how things happen in a place in a time, the droids are actually made in the UK, and a lot of stuff is done at Pinewood, but in the 70s they were still using the English measuring system that we do in the US still today. So even though a lot of the blueprints were drawn up in the UK, they use the American measurement system. So, but that is 0.04 aluminum. They're actually 2-ply, because if you look very closely at an R2 unit, the doors actually have a depth on them. There's like a little bezel that goes around them. So this is what it looks like inside. So the utility arms will go in here and they'll pop out. You can see I do have one of the legs attached, and it does rotate, so if I get the programming right, it'll do the 2-leg to 3-leg conversion. This is where the data panel is. I said it's not a lot right now, but it's just starting to come together.
And this will be for the rotating head?
Yep. And move this out of the way. This is basically what the head spins on. It's a rockler bearing like you'd have on the bottom of a chair. And I took out the steel ball bearings and replaced them with a Delrum, so it's actually really quiet. You can barely hear it.
It actually makes less noise than the toys do.
Yeah.
So.
And I put some silicone grease in there with the Delrum bearings, so they're nice and smooth. And there's actually a motor mount. And then this will connect up, and there'll be a drive controller that will allow this to spin.
So, when you said when you were little you always wanted an R2, when you were little, what did you want the R2 to do for you? Well, versus now. But when you were like the 6, 7-year-old kid, what did you want the R2 unit to be able to do for you?
Well, I wanted a green R5, and I wanted my own Y-wing, because all of my friends were hot for Luke and the X-wing and everything. I'm like, no, I want a Y-wing. And they always thought I was strange, but at the time I'm like, it was kind of weird. It's like, give Han the lightsaber, tell me what to do with it. Luke is whining too much. So I was much more a Han than a fan.
Harrison did age better, though. He did.
So I basically wanted one I could remote control and drive around, that the head would turn, and the arms would pop out, and maybe like a little camera in the head kind of thing. All of which is easily possible with current electronics. one of the things that I've kind of added to the idea, thanks to Rebels, was the concept of Chopper having arms coming out of the sides of the head. So I'm currently doing some mad scientist engineering to figure out how to make that happen. But I do have little grippers. The head would sit up to about there on it. But a lot of this is aluminum. The feet, which are not in frame, are 1/8" steel. So the feet will weigh, all 3 feet together will probably weigh close to about 80 pounds themselves, which will give it a nice low center of gravity, so it's not going to face plant or fall over or get knocked over anytime soon. I'm estimating that it's going to be 170 to 180 pounds once it's finished. But the head, I'm going to 3D print. The utility arms, I'm going to 3D print. And I have hobby attention deficit disorder, so I'll work on the legs, and then the next weekend I'll work on the body, and then the next weekend I'll work on designing the head. But actually, the head deep credit where credit's due. There's a gentleman in the UK named Michael Badley who has offered up some of his droid files to give me access to, or give general access to. So I'm using his files. I'm standing on the shoulders of his genius, and then I'm just customizing the files for what I want my R5 to do. Similarly, like the control system, a lot of people use an Arduino. I'm using a Raspberry Pi based system that was designed by a gentleman named Darren Polson. It'll run on a Pi 3B that'll sit. One of my things up in the air is where to place the control system in the body. I have like 4 different ideas right now. But I don't know if you can see this because I don't have the center leg in, but this arm is attached to gears in the center of the body that will lift a scissor hinge and lift the center foot into the body when it goes to 2-leg mode.
So you were talking about like using it for like you could be able to see stuff with it. Are you still going to do like the night vision?
Yes, yes. Well, an R5 has basically like 3 camera lenses on the front and then a bunch of little decorative studs.
Yeah.
And in like the original R5D4 that appeared in A New Hope, those were actually peepholes for doors in the 3 large eyes, and then they were just sewing snaps on the front of the body.
And yet it looks so good on film.
Film can be very, very good.
Yeah.
So I wanted to expand on that. It's like, okay, there's a greeble here. I'm a form follows function person, so if I had a greeble here, what would it do? So I have 3 different eyes, and completely separate from the body's automation of the head turning and the driving and everything, there's going to be a sensor suite with its own little web server inside. So you could actually pull out your phone, and it'll say, and I'm calling the droid R5N8. So you could pull out your phone and see R5N8 on Wi-Fi and connect to it, and you would see through the camera on the droid what the droid sees. So currently, of the 3 eyes, I have 2 of them programmed and ready to go. I have the regular camera in the center. I have an infrared night vision camera on the one side. Because I'm waiting on parts for it. I actually want to do, right below the main eye, I want to do like a little thermal imaging camera kind of thing to give it that predator vision type of effect.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
But that board's been on back order for 6 months, so. Other than that, there will be a microphone. There's going to be an infrared send and receive. That's already programmed. There is actual sensors inside of it. There's actual environmental sensors inside of it. So it'll do operating temperature. There's a thermometer on the motherboard, so I know how that runs. There's going to be outside temperature, humidity, barometric pressure. There's a GPS that mounts into it that'll give coordinates, because I'm not going to all this work for it to disappear somewhere. Best $30 you can spend.
Yeah.
And the fun thing is that for the web interface, that'll tell it whether it's north, southwest, heading, kind of thing. So there's actually a lot of little sensor suites, and then the Pi wedges on top will do a couple little things. So it'll pop up. There's going to be so above the cameras, there's going to be an infrared illuminator for the night vision camera. It's going to be a regular light for the regular camera. I do have a couple open slots yet. One of them is going to be a spectrographic analysis. It'll do a chromatic analysis. So basically, if you hold up something of any color in front of it, there'll be a little screen that'll give you the RGB values for whatever you're holding up. I didn't go out. It was already on one of the other boards, so I'm like, well, let's exploit it. So, little fun geeky toys that.
Okay, so you're gonna have some of the top panels open. Gotta ask because we've all seen Return of the Jedi.
Will I eject a lightsaber?
Yes. Will you eject a lightsaber?
Okay. Well, if I eject a lightsaber, it would be Sam Jackson's lightsaber because he had the coolest looking one. But I have been. I do have. So the top of an R5 dome has 8 wedges, 3 of which are taken up by holding the head together. But the back port side one, there's absolutely nothing underneath. And the R5 head is actually tall enough that you could actually fit the entire saber inside. So like R2's dome, if you try to fit like Luke's saber in, part of it actually sticks down and out.
Yeah.
But since the R5 head is about 3 inches taller, you could actually do the whole saber and it would still turn and not interfere with anything. So there may be a durable 3D printed version of Sam Jackson's lightsaber, just popping out of there just because he had the coolest one.
Yeah. So since it's Sam Jackson, would you stay true to Star Wars, or would you have Sam Jackson and being Sam Jackson, like, here's your motherfucking lightsaber,
Well,
I just had to ask. I just popped into my mind.
If you want to go Star Wars wise, you could say, yeah, we saw Sam Jackson's character of Mace Windu die, but then we saw Darth Maul die too, and he came back. So all I'm saying is we never saw Mace Windu's body.
No, we never did. And Sam actually wants to come back to the party. He's said that several times that he would like to come back to the Mace Windu.
So yeah, he got blown out of a window, but there could have been a speeder like 3 levels below. He could have landed on the hood. We can explain all of this away. If we can explain Maul getting cut in half and being brought back, we can explain anything.
Yeah. So would there be any sound effect?
Yes.
Would it be the Sam Jackson or would it just be something more actually with the Star Wars universe? Because I think both could be fun, depending on the situation that you're in.
Well, it's actually going to be mix and match. So there are the stock R2-D2 sounds that you can always use, and they're iconic. But since I'm doing a custom droid, it doesn't really have to fit anything. I can go off script and mess with it.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to do like a hybrid of R2 and Chopper sounds, except I was going to do them with my own voice and then distort them. So it kind of sounds like Kenny from South Park talking. So like if you tell him to do something he doesn't want to do it, I could hit a little button on the remote and go, no, that kind of thing. So just little things like that, but I don't want to. But yeah, I thought it would be kind of cool. I'm going to try and get as much fun of it as I can, because like I said, I've been planning it for decades, and I started it 2 years ago, and this is as far as I've got. But the next big things are going to be figuring out how to mount these skins, and then things will start falling in place in the body pretty quickly, actually.
So, obviously this is not like the first thing you started to build. You actually started with just basic models, right?
Oh yeah, I started building regular model kits in 1979, which was actually, sci-fi theme-wise, it was actually the original motion picture Enterprise. And so I've been building models ever since. I have done a ridiculous number of models since then, including I actually did Bandai did a series of 1/12 scale R2-D2 and other astromech droid models. So I actually got an R5 model and painted it up exactly how I want this to look when I'm done, as kind of a color test. And then I went out and grabbed color swatches so I could get them to match the exact color. And kind of went from there.
Kind of the green's similar to that, actually. Just happenstance, coincidence?
Complete coincidence. Because like one of the next things I have to do for the feet is the feet are welded together and they're 1/8" steel, but I have to drill holes in them to run the wiring down to the motors, hence the drill press. And I don't want flying shards of metal in my face, so I grabbed that polycarbonate shield and I'm like, well, isn't that ironic? It's almost the right color.
since I talked about your other modeling, you've actually gotten a few awards for some of your other modeling at model shows, right?
Oh, just a few. I'm part of the local Pittsburgh Plastic Modeler Society IPMS group, Three Rivers IPMS, and they have a show normally every March, and then there's usually a show in Louisville, Kentucky that I go to every summer. That is, due to circumstances, been bumped back to the end of October. So I've won a couple of awards for some of the projects I've done because I love Star Wars, but I'm multi-denominational. You know, it's like Star Trek, Star Wars, Space 1999, Doctor Who, Buck Rogers.
Battlestar Galactica?
Battlestar Galactica. I'm all over that. Actually, that was one of my down the road 3D projects.
Mm-hmm.
Is the original 70s Battlestar Galactica had these cool looking Sphinx-ish pilot helmets.
Now, do you know if Ralph McQuarrie drew those up originally? Because I know he did a lot of the art for that and Star Wars and other sci-fi stuff, but
I'm not sure if that was him. It may have been.
check that out.
Ralph McQuarrie is such a catalog of work.
Yeah, from like Boeing to Star Wars to, I think he even did some Star Trek, maybe. I'm not sure. But I mean, he's done, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Loads and loads of work.
It was kind of funny because at one point I was like, okay, I'm going to make a helmet of some kind. I'm like, oh well, I'm doing this. I'll make an X-wing pilot helmet. Well, yep, Black Series. Never mind. So why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. So, when you do your helmet, is it going to be custom?
Oh yeah.
To match.
Yeah.
R5N8.
Yes. So I can have the full size helmet. I can have the full size droid. I can't have the full size Y-wing, damn it. But you know, I can dream.
Yeah, well, I mean, you might be able to, at someday, manufacture something like that.
If somebody ever wanted to invite me onto a filming set, I would not say no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did the mock-ups X-Wings for...
True.
You know, so... I think people have actually built life-size ones, so... I'm not sure if you can get to fly or not yet. That might be the trick. But...
Yeah, not without a crane.
No.
I would need a... And plus, to get to that level, I would need a much... My income would need to have a couple more decimal places on the end of it.
Well, there's Mega Millions, there's Powerball, but I don't think you're a big gambler type, so...
Yeah. The odds be ever in my favor is what you're saying.
Yes, maybe you will know someone who knows someone or something. Maybe you'll just happen to find the winning lottery ticket on the ground somewhere. So, well, hey, thanks for doing this for me. I appreciate it. Hopefully everyone out there likes it and enjoys it. And, oh yeah, I should mention, like, subscribe, and if you don't like it, give us a thumbs down. Give me a thumbs down. Anything. But, hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Duncan, hope it was fun for you to do, and I appreciate you. And I guess we will go about the rest of our day now.
Yep. And if I get any significant work done on this, we can do an update.
All right, thanks.